Anybody else going to drop an emoji? Kind of like to have 3 to get started. There we go. Thought Soul would have some. He did his own response there. I have glasses, but I think I have more teeth than that. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Shadows Pub and Pimp Your Post Thursday morning edition from the Ramble. And I just noticed I haven't changed the times on the opening screen for the stream because we need to move an hour on the UTC. Yep, PYPT. So Axeman is going to be first up this morning. And he's got his link in there. Another visual story, the city and the fog. Boy, that's something I don't miss driving in is fog. Yes, Define is reminding everybody, don't forget to react for the banjo tokens. And don't forget the giveaways are running. You click on the emojis. You actually need to be present when the giveaway happens, or I have to disqualify you. That can't be an easy task at taking pictures in the fog. It does look really dense. Axeman says, Shivo, you have to get into the queue. You cannot just drop a link because you happen to be ready. You put an emoji in and I'll call on you at the appropriate time. Axeman says, yep, but the trick is to use a long lens when taking picture in fog.
Sorry, this time maybe X-Man show her content.
Axeman is currently presenting his post, and if you want to take a part, then you need to do what everybody else does and put one of the emojis in and wait your turn.
Oh yeah, understood.
Okay. And that was some 400 millimeters. Well, you got some interesting shapes in there. You can even make out what they were. Very good. Thank you, Axeman. And Zeke, you are up.
All right. I posted or I copied and pasted, and then I copied something else. So give me one.
Was it anything embarrassing?
Nah, just boring business stuff. I'm sending out emails to get sponsorship for the local art house cinema, and so nobody wants to read.
Ah. Hey, there's our buddy
There
Liz.
we go.
I saw this post this morning.
Oh, good. Imagine that. Yeah, I usually Wednesday comes along, and I think, oh my God, I got to do a Wednesday walk. Oh, I have to do my thoughts so that I can post it tomorrow. What am I going to do? So this one won out. And Wes might be interested in this one, although I don't see him.
He's not in the channel. You'd need to text it or type it in.
No worries. Anyway, this is my thoughtful daily post for the week. So it should be thoughtful weekly post as far as I'm concerned. But I usually get stricken every now and then by a neat little meme or a picture or something to that effect that makes me pause and think positive thoughts. And a lot of them seem to be pointing back to the notion that you really have to live in the moment, and this one kind of struck home for that one. Maybe I'll just post a picture so that people don't have.
Eckhart Tolle. He's an interesting character. I have on occasion watched some of his videos, and I do have a couple of his books, but I haven't actually read them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I looked at that and I went, well, that's a rather pretentious name, isn't it? So
It
yeah, I don't know
is.
who Eckhart.
A friend
Maybe
of
it should.
a friend of mine gave me the book, and the reason she gave me the book was she was in a meeting with her financial advisor, and I happened to notice the book laying on the desk, and she commented on it because she's a reader, and his comment back to her was, "Yes, I read that book and it changed my life." So she gifted a book copy of it to me. I Apparently, since I haven't read the book yet, it hasn't changed my life.
Well, there you go. Your life is about to change then.
There you go.
Yeah, the notion that life never happens anytime but right this minute is kind of a little bit of a contradiction in terms with the way I think, because if I'm sitting here in a minute and I'm not solving a problem, then something starts to bug me. So I think, oh God, what can I do right now to make tomorrow better, to achieve goals and that type of thing. So I get sucked away from the moment. And this passage kind of struck me as, if I keep doing that, I'm never actually going to live life. So uh, I went, yeah, this is good, and I sat down and spent some family time and had a beer and laughed a little bit and realized that's really what life is about.
Yeah, you definitely have to have those times. I think after a while, if you don't, you start to not appreciate what is going to happen in the future for the simple fact that you're not enjoying what's happening now.
Hmm. So I guess you have to balance it. I guess life is about balance. So if you never do anything for tomorrow, you're always going to have the same today. But
Exactly.
but yeah, you can get swept away in the other direction where you're never at peace. You're always thinking about tomorrow, and time just ends up flying by when you're just chasing that horizon.
Yes, definitely. I think a lot of people do that, and that's why they're perpetually unhappy.
Yeah, and that's why I felt the need to share it, as if I need to be reminded, then other people probably need to be reminded as well. And I always love the comments, the positive people that come out of the woodwork and share some of their experiences in that post is worth it alone, as is the shade and the conversation with the.
I think one of the things that pet owners have is a built-in way of having those in the moment times, because your pets are around and they're doing things and they're never going to repeat them because they do stuff in the moment, and they don't, if they think about doing it again, they just never do.
And the concept of tomorrow doesn't even exist for my dog.
Exactly. Yes, I would say that was a very good post. I did pick up on your smooch someone who doesn't expect it.
That's usually my little girls, Dad. So I just sneak up on them and give them a little.
Kitty Girl says, I hate mentioning a future event while Zeke is talking about living in the moment, but mark your calendars for the next witness chat in the Ramble on the 20th. You might also want to, while we're at it, let me just find the link. The Steamfest streams have started. Several hours behind already, but that's okay. You can always catch up in, your quiet times. So there's the channel to get the streams from Steamfest. And there's already 4 of them up there now. So if you keep an eye on that channel, you'll be able to see the others that are being added. Um, the team from Steam It Inc. was speaking yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I hope to get a chance to have a listen this afternoon, because that's one of the reasons why I set the witness chat for the 20th rather than next Wednesday, was that it would give everybody an opportunity to get back from Steamfest and we'd be able to hear what's come out of Steamfest. Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Zeke. And Solo, you're up. And now's a good time to drop some emojis, people.
Hello, everyone on PYPT. I hope we all are doing well. I've been absent for a few weeks, but I wanted to share with y'all someone else's link this time and hopefully make up for my absence over this time. This post is by Decooperation. I believe Clicks Money runs this group, and hopefully you weren't about to share this, Clicks Money. I see you on there, so I'm going to share it for you. It's a post about some video I shared with them a while back. I took some video of me on like Steam Monsters and using ActiveFit, and even posts on PYPT. There's a little clip of me talking on there and talking with you, Shadows Pub, and he rolled it into a really great short promotional video. So if you want a video to kind of make your heart warm and appreciate all the dApps that we have here on Steam, check it out. I really like the work he did. It's a great video. And he also has a really interesting delegation system too, where if you participate in like helping spread the community and get it bigger, they have a special system for that. So look into Decooperation. It's a really interesting group with some very special rewards and benefits as a member.
All right. I'll have to check that video out. And Click says, so anyone can still send us videos and get 25% every single day. And yes, Solo, we have missed you. Where you been hanging out? Or you've just been busy?
Mostly working in my yard, but I've also been working on some computer projects where I've just been staring at a computer monitor till my eyes.
Yeah, they get a little blurry after a while, don't they?
Yeah, but it's funny because the way I like to relax is usually gaming online or gaming like on just doing single player games. So I don't really, besides going outside, have a much of an outlet to like relax outside of looking at a different monitor, but now enjoying myself instead of like thinking hard about what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Thank you, Solo. And Bluefin, you're up. I think. Yep.
Hi, all.
Hey, Blue.
Thank you for having us. Boy, I might have some wonky internet. I have a few moments before I have to run out and do some work stuff, but I thought I might join in and see a couple of cool posts. Nice to see everybody here. I made this post a little while ago, but it's actually about something that took place a few weeks ago, which is that we finally got solar on the roof. It was exciting. So it's a sort of a behind the scenes of how the install went and what happened. Little look-see. It's as I was explaining to someone else recently. It's not quite online yet because the process takes forever. We're still waiting on the local power company approving us being on the grid, and they have to install one last piece. The power company does, which is at the end of the property line where we connect to the grid. They have to put something new and different there. And then we should be able to go online and look and see how each panel produces and see graphs and see dials spinning in the correct direction, and it'll be great.
So your tech side will love that. So are you drawing your power in the house now from it?
No, because we're not online.
Okay.
We're not actually producing. And we didn't opt to spend the money on a big battery pack. So we are still dependent on the grid for power. We have no batteries whatsoever, and if we don't see a sine wave coming from the power grid, then our
Oh, no,
electricity, so it doesn't.
no
Yeah.
sine wave, no power.
Correct.
That'll be fun in the middle of the winter.
Well, it is what it is. We've been dealing with that anyway. So it it can get solved with a certain amount of electronics and a small battery, or a small emergency generator, or else if we do opt for a $4,000 or $5,000 investment of some real batteries, we could solve it too. But it's the first step.
So when you say battery, would that be one of those batteries like Tesla has?
That's one of the options. The Tesla's option is it looks like a wall, or like a
Yeah.
concrete wall in your basement, but it's really a big battery bank. It's a bank of batteries. There's many others that actually do it. The Tesla option, which gives you a little more bang for your buck, is got like an 18-month waiting list right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, from the articles I've read, Tesla's not big on their production levels.
No, they're not. They're not pushing it real hard. As you can see, it's the old-fashioned solar panels too. Tesla is producing a series of panels that actually look like your roof tiles. You can't functionally, they're solar panels, but you can't tell visually they're different than what either Adobe tiles or slate or anything. It just basically looks like a roof.
I've seen the articles about them. Are those in use now?
Yeah, it's a small. I mean, they're not producing them in any kind of quantity, so it's a small, limited run. But they have proof of concept out there, and people can buy them. It's years of waiting.
Mm-hmm. Time's coming. They got to start somewhere.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Be interesting to hear your
We think
updates.
it'll take us until about January before they actually get us online and they're producing. And then we'll have a whole website where we can go and log in and see which panel is producing at what level and efficiency. And overall, they have two graphs, two giant sort of dials, and one will spin in the correct direction and be showing green, and that's good for us. And one will spin backwards and show red, which is bad. That means we're buying power from the landlines.
Green's going to be your favorite color.
It will be. But the bad news is our two worst months, the months we predict that we're actually going to be paying, are January and February. So when we first go online, we're going to be looking and saying, the bill's still the same. But for the rest of the year, they predicted that we will be seeing money coming into us instead of us paying out.
Did you join the snow brigade this morning?
I did not.
We got about an inch on the ground here.
I did not. So I already was out and did one errand till just about now. I'm back at the house, waiting around for about 20 more minutes till I get an okay that somebody is in, and then I have one more meeting. So.
It's going to keep you hopping. Well, I'm glad for the delay in the sense that you were able to present this.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to be here. Finally get a chance to get back here and get online.
Yeah. Thank you, Blue. And Define, you're up.
Well, that's an awesome prelude, because I'm here to promote Solaritas again, my project for creating a solar and wind farm. Last week was pretty slow, so I didn't share a post. I didn't make any sales or anything. But this week we sold 9 more. And I guess the big news is that we're going to have to deal with the new whale whim steam, or new steam, whatever you want to call it, right? that as the project grows, if I'm distributing rewards as upvotes, they're going to accuse me of abusing the reward pool. So what I'm going to do is convert it into a manual curation bot like TipU and those guys have done. That seems to be acceptable to everybody, so that token holders will be able to call for an upvote like manual curation style. But I'm going to allow that they upvote on their own post if they want to.
Yeah, this new Steam seems to have its ups and downs, to say the least.
Yeah, after they attacked SBI, I realized, any stake-based voting system, they see it as making profit from the blockchain, and that you're abusing the reward pool. Well, that's because they want the reward pool, right?
Yeah, in the meantime, they're self-voting themselves to, improve their return. Exactly, Engine, like an investor doesn't. It's good to know
Well,
we're decentralized and nobody's in charge.
for right now, we're approaching middlehood now on our own. We got about 418 SP in the project that it's earned. So we're small enough now that I don't think really anybody's caring. So we're going to keep on with the upvotes as they are right now. But I'm going to program the bot and keep the database so that it'll, once the project does get bigger, that we'll be able to make that switch easy enough.
So I went in and took a look at the conversation that they had with Joseph over in the that Discord last week after they'd been downvoting him. And it seemed to me that 90% of their issue was their own ignorance. They didn't actually understand what Steam Basic Income does or how it works, but they would attack it anyways.
And it's all a vision. See, I'm on this blockchain because my intention is to build a game, and I wanted the playing of the game to mine the token. So I looked all over at Loom and Raven and EOS, Tron, all these Ether, and I stuck with Steam because the transaction fees were zero and the speed was fast.
Yeah.
So I'm here to build a blockchain based game. All the social media stuff is just kind of like, well, okay, I'm building my RC for the day when I release my game. But they can't seem to see past the social media, the Steam It aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they've kind of narrowed the vision. They went after getting rid of some actual abuse that was going on and then narrowed the vision from there.
Yeah, I mean, I see definitely people like plagiarizing or like copying a YouTube video and making money off of other people's content. Yeah, sure, downvote that stuff. But just because people are trying to build systems on the blockchain that aren't directly upvoting quality posts, uh, that's crazy. It's a limited vision.
Yeah, it is. I guess we're going to have to wait and see how things shake out as we move forward.
But I
Very good.
figure rather than swimming upstream, I might as well adjust and change the nature of the project.
Yeah, it's easiest in the long run. Thank you, Define. And Solo, you're back. Kitty Girl's reminding everybody to support each other. Um, Leaving comments is great. If you've got some steam powered upvote, do so. Comments are really good. Lets people know you've read. Earns you some shade if you mention PYPT. And Solo, tell us about this post.
Will do. So I went on a hike with Ryu Lincoln, and we come across some deer. And this isn't a state park, so they're not something we can hunt, but we can definitely appreciate them. And he got within maybe 15 feet from these deer. It was pretty amazing we could get so close. Usually, just barely being able to see them is about as close as they want to get to you. So we captured them kind of running off after he got a little too close, but they still remained in the woods. So got to see the deer running through the woods and just hanging out in the immediate area. So I hope y'all enjoy that video. I'm glad I've captured that beautiful nature.
It was funny. My parents had pictures that they've taken, and they were quite common back in all the 40s and 50s, of people actually getting deer to come right up to them and take food from them. I guess over the years they've had to adapt to being hunted more.
Yeah, I noticed when we're in areas that are hunted, the wildlife keeps a distance from you. But when we're in protected state parks, they let you get really close.
That was maybe the difference, because a lot of the pictures that they had taken was up in one of the provincial parks called Algonquin, and there's one highway runs through the park, and the rest of it is wilderness. And the deer would come down to the highway and would take food from people.
Wow, that's awesome. I bet they're really big in Canada too. Ours are a little smaller, but the Canadian ones are real.
I don't know. I'd have to see to compare. I wouldn't see deer as being all that much bigger. Caribou definitely would be.
Right, yeah, we haven't even got caribou.
From what I understand, um, our stocks of caribou are dwindling. Some of them are actually in danger of extinction.
Is it the wolves?
Yeah, the two-legged ones.
Oh, the humans are doing it? They're killing.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
between loss of habitat and overtake, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
From what I understand, our population here on the East Coast, in my area and Shadows up by you, is the same type of deer.
just a whitetail, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's eastern whitetail. Um, and the ones out in the west, Montana and whatnot, is the same as out by I guess is that Alberta or somewhere up there.
Yeah. Alberta, Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
that area. Alberta would take you up to the foothills. The
Very cool.
other aspect with the caribou, particularly in the north. Yeah, I saw it. Um, Particularly up in the north, some of their migration is being impacted by the melting permafrost. All right. Thank you, Sol. And Engine, you're up.
I'm sharing this at the request of Westfield and over there, Mr. Thoughtful Daily Post himself. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right. Looks like there's a challenge between Jay and WWEB, or however you demand of West.
Weeb. Weeb.
However you say his name. I used to have a teacher named Mr. Weeby that was spelled the same, so it comes out naturally enough. But they were supposed to take pictures of just common things, and Jay here decided to take pictures of what looks like bike seats. And as I'm scrolling through it, he's a good photographer and does good editing. And kind of brought back a few memories. And it's a brand new post to me. I just read it 3 minutes ago, or most of it, and got caught up in the pictures as I usually do with photographers' posts. So, yeah, go give him a pat on the back and
Maybe
good
that'll
stuff.
trigger Jay to go back to doing his. I'm trying to remember the name of the lamb that he used to pose on different spots and shoot pictures and do little stories of.
Barbara. It was
Yeah.
Barbara. Put Barbara on the bike seats or in the little baskets or something. That'd be cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Barbara. That's what it was. Yeah, that was cute. I have to remind him.
All right. And Wes made sure it got presented. Has he got the one from Weeb too?
It's Team USA. I can go fetch it.
Okay.
I'll drop down.
Okay. There we go. And Clicks Money is up. And Clicks, we're just waiting on. He's getting his link, I would imagine. A new fun challenge trying to be started. Lightning challenge. What's that? Taking pictures of lightning?
Oh,
There he is.
do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, now you hear me now again. Yes?
I can hear you now.
You don't need to upvote that. I will tell you directly because it's like 9 years, 9 days old. 9 years.
Hey, Clicks
Okay.
Money was writing before the blockchain existed.
Yeah. Okay. So it's also a kind of I don't know a curation project, but it's not profit. It's non-profit. I don't even upvote myself from that account, and maybe we upvote the our post, but we create maybe up posts one a week or something like that, and we don't earn any money from that. Like non-profit, it's just to collaborate. And it's also kind of I don't know, maybe someone from those guys is here or no. Anyway, they will find the cooperation anyway someday. So we have like a system. We reward people to send us videos. We have also a system for delegators. Yeah, but I just want to reduce that for delegators because delegators are not sending videos to decooperation. And decooperation was created to collaborate to create videos, and we want people to send us content, and we power up everything and like upvote them. And we don't. I don't know. It's just for fun. Like the guy said, it's just like a game. So I just shared how the cooperation curation work now, and I hope people will send us videos, and I'm just building that account, and I will see. Let's see how it goes.
And that's using ThreeSpeak, right?
Not necessary. We may use D2, we may use D3Speak. We welcome all the platform, and we promote all the Steam platform. We don't care about, I don't know,
That seems fair.
competition. We even can, I don't know, publish articles there with Busy, for example, or Buzzy. We can, I don't know, share pictures with epics. We can use any tribe. So it's like to support all the Steam blockchain.
Very good. So remember, guys, don't upvote that, but you can leave comments. They'll count. Pimp says... Okay, Engine's
Hey,
asking,
Shadow.
where does the
Yes.
gamification come in?
The
Yeah, it just
gamification
looks
is
all
when
about like delegation to me. It doesn't really say anything about gaming and gamification.
no, I mean the gamification of sending videos, because the more video you send, it's just like a fun. I am here for fun. Everybody's serious in Steam. I am here like creating videos and having fun. And I meant gamification, like the more people, I don't know, contribute to the community, the more they will get. It's just like when they play a game, and the best level they have, and the best, I don't know, like TPU or any other project.
Yeah, that makes sense. The more you contribute, the more you earn, and that's the gamification.
Yeah, even Steam blockchain is a kind of game. The more Steam power you have, the more you earn. Something like that.
Okay. Engine was looking from the very literal side of gamification because he loves playing games, and he was thinking he had another game to check out.
Yeah, I actually did find one that there's no gameplay involved yet with it, but coming soon. Should be pretty cool. Oh, Gods Unchained is awesome. I've been playing that off and on when I have time. It takes a little more time to play it because the matches are like 20 minutes long, and my internet doesn't always allow me to finish a match, which sucks. So my win loss over there is not true as to what it should be. But
And did I see
anyway,
right that Snook played like 87 rounds at one time?
127. 87.
127.
Yeah, she won like I don't know, like a 50 or something. But yeah, she played
Wow.
a crap ton. There's another guy that won like almost 140. He must have been playing nonstop
Well, so
because you can't win
apparently
every
so was
game.
Snook.
Yeah. Well, she had to be just. She was trying to distract herself from the lack of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she must be a bot. A Snook bot.
Snowball. Oh man.
Click says, I'm also serious, just like to have some fun sometimes. I'm also steamy in almost 2.5 years and didn't mean anything bad. Of course not. All right. Thank you, Clicks. And Shivo, you are up. Snookbot laughs till she coughs. Shivo, you can put your link in now. There he is. Okay, now come on and tell us about your post. I know you're on voice because you've already utilized it. You're muted there, Shivo, so I hope you're not talking. You need to unmute yourself. There you go. Nope. Shivo, unmute yourself.
My
There you
voice is
go.
clear.
Now we can hear you. Tell us about your post.
Sure. My voice is clear.
Yeah, we can hear you. Tell us about your post.
Actually, I also share my post for present. Uh, Last night I also seen a patient, a child patient. That's why I also create my post about this time. If you interest, that's why you also check my post. Hopefully you understood.
All right. So Shivo, you have now earned the PYPT attendee role, and you have access to a channel down below that you can drop your posts into. Don't forget to have a look at some of the other posts that are put in there by other attendees and give them some support as well.
Thank
So,
you.
who's the smiling youngster in the photo?
Actually, this not my student. This my patient. Last night I also seen this patient. He also suffering dental problem. She comes to my chamber with her parents. That's why I also treat, and that's it.
She's got a beautiful smile. Her eyes light up.
Yeah, yeah.
A very good picture. Well done, Shivo. And Solo, you're up.
I have some infrared photography to share with y'all. I went
Hello,
out to
Shadow.
Okay, go ahead, Solo.
So we visited a old gold mine, and it has a stamp mill in it. So I took my friend down to the spot, as he hasn't had a chance to check out much of the woods or Georgia for the most part. So I got to show him some old history back when we had a gold rush going on, just like California and the West did at one point. So I brought my camera along, and it was the middle of summer, so there's a ton of vegetation for my special camera to pick up on. And it's just really cool to see the dark black water up against the bright white plants. And this was after a fresh rain, and a lot of trees were falling down in the area. So it gave the area really a woodland kind of look to it. So I hope you like those photos I shared, and appreciate y'all checking it out.
Now, first glance at that photo, I went, that could almost be a ghost story photo.
They do look very ethereal.
Yeah, that one might be more so than some of the others that you've presented. At least at first glance. Once I took a second look, it was a little different, but first glance it was like, oh, ghost story.
I do have some of those too, but I'll wait till maybe my next turn for that.
Zeke says same with Axeman with his fog photos. Which comment was that,
The
Engine?
one I just left, and I also put something in reference to horror stories on X-Men's too. I was like, yeah, I remember Stephen King's The Mist.
Halloween's over, you know.
In the spirit of it all, you know.
I'm not free of it yet, am I?
No, maybe a couple more weeks. Thanksgiving
Oh,
gets a
good
little
lord.
closer.
You do realize this is the remembrance period in Canada, so Halloween's done, gone.
Yeah, we got Veterans Day coming up too next week.
Yep, same day.
Yo,
It's Halloween until Thanksgiving arrives. Nope, once remembrance starts, that's it. Halloween's gone.
I agree with Kitty. there's a
And
brief, there's a pause for Veterans Day, and then it's still Halloween.
see, the beauty of it is the remembrance period starts on November the 1st. It's perfect. For us, Engine, it's not just the 11th, it's the period leading up to the 11th. Uh,
Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and
yeah, you guys split it out into two.
yeah,
So for us, it's kind of that remembrance period. And the week prior to is actually Veterans Week.
we also got that Patriots Day now on 9/11. I mean,
The,
it's more for post 9/11 vets and victims, but still kind of a military.
what do they call it?
It's called Patriots Day now.
Patriots Day. Interesting. Thank you. And Solo and Pre, you are up.
Hello, Shadow. How are you?
How bad in yourself?
I'm doing very, very, very good. Well, this is my post. First of all, I want to share something with you guys. That is, my family visited me recently in Ukraine. They came from Bangladesh, and I really, really had a great time, to be honest, because um, as a student, I live here and I have not met them like 2 years. So it was a really great surprise and great moment for me. So this post is about I went to a park. It's called Taras Shevchenko Park, and I went there with my family, and we had a great time there. I usually go there for walking, but when I went there with my family, it was another feeling, and I wrote about the park and enter stuff because it was fall and it was really beautiful, colorful day, and I just wanted to share with you guys.
There's beautiful pictures there. So,
Yeah.
were you expecting your family to arrive or did they surprise you?
No, I was expecting, but you know, like after 2 years, I am just watching them in front of me. And it was like another thing that I could not stop crying when I saw them because I never expected that they will visit me. I invited them, but it was like 50-50 chances.
Ah, well, that made it all the sweeter to visit.
Yeah, because there are some problem because foreigners can't come, especially from Bangladesh. It's not easy to cross the immigration in Ukraine. So I was like 50-50 chances, and I was like, visa process and everything takes too much time. So I was like, maybe they will come, maybe not.
Ah, travel isn't always as easy as it seems at times.
Yeah. And
Solo,
I had a great time.
you are present. And Define the Dollar, you are present.
Yep, I'm here.
And Bluefin has left us, so SBI goes to you two. Nice work. Thank you, Pri. And no, Engine, you don't.
Thanks, Shadow, for hosting the show.
Oh, by the way, Taiki messaged me yesterday. Everybody should have got that was at Curation Corner on Tuesday should have got 10 TPC. He said that he had dropped tokens to everybody. Okay, Clicks Money, you are up.
Okay, I want to share with you this post. So maybe it's not a post, but you can watch, take a look at the second post he did, because he's new to Steam and I invited him. So this guy is living next to me, and you will see in the video he's like talking about me that I invited him. So he's just creating cool video games or like review of games in YouTube, and he wanted just to try Steam. So he joined it and he shared one of his videos, and also he shared an introduction post. So I think his English is also good, so he's Russian, but he speaks some English, and his videos are also fun. He's like an old guy, but not old guy. I mean, adult, like 40 years old or something like that. But his voice looks like the voice of a kid. So that is it.
So I take it that he's come on to do some gaming and stream the games?
Yeah, something like that on YouTube.
I just noticed down here, Cheetah dropped a comment that
Yeah,
the
because
similar
yeah,
content over on YouTube. Well, geez, I wonder why, since the links came from YouTube.
Yeah, no. I told him that you don't have. I don't know if it's true or not, but I told him that you don't have to put the same description that is on YouTube on Steam. That's why they will maybe flag you. I don't know. He removed the description from there, so he's not a
Um,
spammer.
no, I wouldn't have worried about it too much. Just use what description you want to. Obviously, the bot was a little bit too sensitive. So if the comment drops again, because he's not downvoting, he's just dropping the comment about the similar content. If it drops again, message guilty parties, and they'll whitelist them.
Guilty parties. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for the information.
I kind of like Cheetahbot, but sometimes he gets a little bit carried away. Yeah, that's the reason you want to get whitelisted.
Hey Shadow, I'm Churro.
Pardon?
I just tell something. Actually, it was deep night for my zone. I need sleep. I also go right now. So everybody, thank you. Thank you for cooperate with me. Hope next day I also join again. So no more today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shivo. Take care. Okay. And the kitty girl is up. Ah, kitty girl's going to do it by text. Her voice is not good today. So, it's been a long time since I posted about some of the crystals and pretty rocks in my collection, so I decided to write about another one. This is a quartz crystal with some other material included within it. There is one spot of golden brown that looks like a fire burning, and the white wispy bits inside the crystal look like they are rising from the fire. Hence why I call it my phoenix crystal. Quite a few of my crystals are unique, but this is probably one of the most unusual of them all. In fact, maybe I should have posted some of the more normal looking crystals first. Ah, normal's, normal. Unique is better. That is an interesting one, an interesting shape. Very nice. Thank you, kitty girl. Oops. I'm bound and banded. I'm not going to type kitty girl today. I'm going to type grill. I guess we want to burn that throat of yours out so that it gets better. And we have Sarge up next. Okay, Sarge.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is for everybody, but I know it's still morning for me and Shadows Pub and Kitty Girl. Thank you for hosting Shadows Pub. I know I've been kind of ghost lately, but I just remembered today was Thursday, so I said, "Oh, let me go in there. Let me pimp one of my own posts and let everybody take a look at it." So, to the post. This is an art contest that Steam Monsters, aka Splinterlands, did, and I haven't entered a contest in a while, but I won fifth place, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I made a little GIF with just the Splinterlands logo. It took me 3 hours to make. It took a long time to make, but I'm not a professional animator and stuff, but I play with it off and on. So it's neat, but I just wanted to share it. And then anybody here that's kind of artsy and likes to make art, or if you like to tell stories or have an idea for a creature or something, you might want to go into the contest. Now, you don't win no Steam or nothing, but you can win some uh, cards, some Splinterland playing cards, and they're a good investment in a way because you can sell them on the market and stuff like that. And a lot of them, the values have gone really, really up. And Steam Monsters, they haven't been around that long, but the values of the cards are really, really going up.
Well, they might want to watch for the next contest coming along because I see the deadline for the one that you entered was November the 2nd.
Oh, no, there's another one. There's another one
Ah,
posted.
okay.
This one, yeah, this one's done. This one's done. That they have them. They've been having them kind of regular, so they're pretty nice. But Engine Witty, he was really bearish on this Steam Monsters. He's probably Steam Monsters Splinterlands rich by now because he was buying them things like crazy back in the day. So
I think Gods Unchained has caught his attention at the moment.
now, is that a Steam game or is that something else?
Apparently, it's on Ethereum, but is managing to onboard quite a few people onto Steam.
Wow. Well, that's good. I mean, that's the thing, It's like you always say, Shadows Pub, Steam is so much more than just, one thing. I mean, it's not all blogging. I mean, I see a lot of people. I'm a member of a guild there on Splinters Lands, and there's some people just on Steam. They don't even blog. The only reason they joined Steam was to play the Steam Monsters.
And we'll see a lot of that over time. There'll be the hardcore that'll stick to blogging, and there'll be those that are doing videos, and people will have their own little areas that they're most interested in. Um, ERC 721. Do you mean ERC 20 or do you mean C 721? I've never seen that.
Yeah, it might be something new.
Interesting.
It might have like I guess like we got on Steam Engine. When I saw what they were doing with Steam Engine, it kind of put me in mind with Ethereum and their ERC 20 tokens, like basic attention token and Golem and all of them that are um, tied to Ethereum. Kind of
So
same way, I guess.
each Gods Unchained trading card is a unique ERC 721 token saved in an Ethereum account. Though I'm token 2.0, you'll be able to purchase, store, and transfer cards for Gods Unchained. There we go. We learn something all the time. Click says some of the DTubers and people who are in 3Speak are just here to make some videos. Yeah, there's some of them. I'm trying to think of that one, Data Dash. He just does the videos up on 3Speak, and if you try to find his account on Steam, you won't actually find it. You find it on 3Speak. Pimp says what Aggrowth is trying to do with Splinterlands card right now, converting some to 721s.
I guess that's with that Tron because Steam Monsters is on Tron, and I think Tron is one of them Ethereum tokens.
So he says it's tradable on multiple chains that way, but you still have to use the ETH. Yeah.
Oh, Tron is different. Oh, so Tron ain't part of Ethereum.
Well, Steam only has fees in the sense that you do need RC to be able to do transactions. But if you're doing a transfer, as long as you've got RC, there's no actual fee. You're not losing anything. RC is just like having enough bandwidth to be able to operate with. All right. Thank you, Serge. And Engine, you're up. And we know he's here. There he is.
I'm I had to because I paste the links from here into my browser and so on and so forth. This is the compliment to Tattoo Jay's little challenge over there for seeing USA people's. What we went with instead of bike seats is first to stop down there at a little coffee shop he likes and took some pictures, and then he went to a bookstore and took some pictures. And from the looks of it, the other one is from, I don't know, maybe a movie theater or amphitheater or something. But yeah, he's a pretty good photographer. I didn't know that he was into all that. I've given him credit for other things, but yeah, give him a pat on the
He's
back. Because I said, hey, Whitty, you son bitch, go print these for me. And
Weeb is a pretty varied individual.
that's good though. The more people have different facets of on their blog, and the more engagement they'll get from different people. You know, some people get stuck in just doing videos about games, or just writing about mushrooms or something. So
Well, the general wisdom is that you find your niche and that's what you create content in. But then there's some of us, and I'm one of them, that I don't really have a niche. I just like talking about things that catch my attention. That's my niche, I guess. Got my
yeah, I'm the
attention.
same way. I do
So
like posting about my kids though, and the things that we do. That's kind of, I guess, if I had to fall into one, it would be family.
So I see Solo asking about RCs used in dApps. Anything on the blockchain has to use RCs, Solo. That's why down the road you'll never actually see a point where people won't have a need to hold Steam, because by holding Steam they'll have RCs, and RCs are the bandwidth costs.
Gotcha. Okay. At first I thought it's just like commenting or upvoting or downvoting, but I guess it is the bandwidth to put things on the blockchain.
Yeah,
Yeah, every transaction, every team reveal, and all that stuff, that's all written in JSON to the blockchain.
Nice. Well, at least delegation, you can regenerate those RCs and you're not spending them like many other coins.
exactly. So that's why they say that it's feeless, because you're not actually spending it in order to be able to work to do what you need to do. Just over, if you don't have enough of it, you have to wait for it to regenerate.
Delegated proof of stake. That's the beauty.
It's kind of like a renewable resource.
I found a good thing about RCs I didn't know before, that we can create free accounts, like just from RCs. For example, I used the decooperation RCs to create a free account for my friend, and that's really awesome. I can create a free account every day.
I think you need something like 5K of Steam to be able to do that.
Yeah, I did. I had about 6,000 at the time, and when I did that claim account, I was down to about 5 voting power, or 5 no, RC is down to the 5%. So you probably can't have less than 6,000 and try to claim it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 12,500, and it's been costing me on average 65% of my RC. So the big accounts like BD Voter and Trafalgar, they have bots that are claiming accounts with RC constantly and driving that price.
Oh, I didn't realize it actually changes the price on demand. Interesting.
And it's not necessary that it will be your Steam power, because in decooperation we have just about 2,000 and like 15,000 total delegated, but we could create an account even
No,
with 2,000.
no, you're not creating it with 2,000. You're creating it with the accumulated resource credits that are available with your delegation.
Yeah, yeah.
If all that delegation was
Which
gone and
is
you only had 2,000 Steam, you wouldn't have enough resource credits.
Yeah, I mean, that's good that we can create that even with delegations.
Yeah.
Luckily, these days, getting 6,000 Steam is much more affordable than it was just a year ago.
This is true. All right. Thank you, Engine. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to mention the fact that the foundation needs to re-elect their board by the end of November, and there is a post up on the Steam Alliance account that has a link to a form in that if you want to be able to run for the board, you can fill the form out and submit it, and it needs to be in by Sunday. Okay, Zeke, you're up.
There we go.
All right, what do you got here?
All right. So, as some folks here know, I've started a marketing business with a couple of partners in town, and we've been doing a lot of that stuff, which has taken a lot of my time, a lot of my posting time, unfortunately. But we have, I've put town crier marketing on the blockchain and looking to leverage that towards, I guess, a little bit more future-looking marketing, social media, so that we can stay ahead of the trend, and also to be able to encourage some of these businesses to start up a business blog on the blockchain. So what we normally do is go in and talk to the folks, figure out what makes their business special, and then I come back and put together a blog post telling a story about the business, link it back to them and say, hey, listen, have we got your story correct? What do you think of this? And then give them an exposure, say, hey, listen, if you're looking to make a little bit of money eventually and to help with your search engine optimization and your story, consider making a blog on the Steam platform. So that's kind of connecting the dots between businesses and the blockchain's interesting. And this one is kind of funny because it's a funeral home. So you wouldn't think that there'd be a neat story behind a funeral home besides, just crawling into some place that feels ominous and shitty and not a conversation that you'd like to have. But after having spoken with the funeral director there, it's unbelievable to find somebody that's passionate about that. I think literally the last guy that had his position went nuts, and the last I heard of him was 7 or 8 cop cars swarming the parking lot in front of this place. So you can see how being in this position can weigh down on you, and the last guy was a nice guy as well. But anyway, Stu is the funeral director of this funeral home. I tell a little bit of story what makes them special, but I guess the biggest highlight for me in meeting with him was how he decided to go into this line of work. He didn't just get offered the job, and it wasn't just a moment in time. He wanted to be able to serve the community and help people through tough times, and this is his best way to do that. So they're clients of ours, paying some of my bills at home right now, and I'm happy to be partnered up with Rutherford, and there's a little bit of a link to their story, and hopefully they will decide to be inspired and make themselves a Steemit blog.
That'd be a cool thing. I noticed that our local funeral home has been doing obituaries of some of our better known veterans from the area over the course of the last week, which I thought was a cool way of advertising and doing a service to the community at the same time.
Yeah, it's strange when you talk about marketing at funeral services. It's not like you can say, hey, 50% off funerals or come get your urn or that type of thing. So it's kind of a tough thing. And so the strategy there to market yourselves is to just, to tell a story, to personify the facility with the people that are working there, and just to give, provide value. Say, did you know that with the Canada Pension Plan death benefit that you get, I guess in our specific country, is often more than the basic cremation service. So when somebody dies, they're not going to leave you with thousands and thousands of dollars of service to pay for. It might actually pay for itself with Canada Pension Plan if you do something simple like a simple cremation service. So anyway, provide some information and soften the topic and help people become prepared, so it isn't a surprise somebody died, now you've got to foot a few $1,000s type of thing.
Exactly. With that name, I wonder if they're related to the ones in this area.
I don't know. I don't think so. The backstory is there's an old funeral home in town, and there's 2 of them now. Basically, Stratford's not that large, and the one was opened up by somebody who used to work for the old funeral services. I forget the name of it offhand. And then this one evolved into the Rutherford one. So maybe it's just a common name, or maybe the Rutherfords are kind of like Greek folks who always go into restaurants. Maybe these guys always go into funeral services.
Well, I know there were Rutherfords out in I'm not sure where Keswick is from Stratford. There were ones out that way, because that some of his medals and stuff is actually at the Keswick Legion. Families get spread out. Kitty Girl says, now that's a topic I doubt we've mentioned on PYPT. We have now.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, oh my God, this is not a conversation we've had.
That's okay. We've covered, to come up with a new one and different. That's perfect.
Yeah.
The particularly the after chats have covered quite a range of topics. You never quite know where it's going next.
Yeah, I always try to hang around with all the folks here afterward.
Every now and again we get one that goes off the rails in a weird direction all of a sudden, but it's been a while since we've had one of those. Jack says, can't afford a curation or burial, no problems. Many of us enjoy shark fishing, always looking for new forms of free bait.
No, I didn't say curation, I said cremation.
All right, thank you, Zeke. And Katrina, the lady with the big cats, is up. There we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
um, and I got a new kitten. I'm trying to put a post together for that, but this one's about big cat.
Oh, you mean this isn't the kitten?
No,
I looked at that. I looked at that
as much
photo
as
this
I would
morning.
love to take one of those home, they don't domesticate, that can't be a word, very well.
I looked at that photo this morning and I went, "Oh, Katrina, go big or go home."
I love them. They're so amazing. They're just I always said I was part cat. It just been for cats of all sizes, and having spent time at this rescue, that they focus on big cats, but they also basically take in any animal. So they have foxes, they have wolves, they have just an assortment of different animals. When I used to volunteer there, I think they had a camel that wasn't able to fully stand on its front legs, like its front legs were always kneeling. But that camel lived out the rest of its life in dignity, cared for. And I just have so much respect for anybody who does rescue. But
So
aren't they ferocious? Priya, that's a good question. They're wild animals, so they're not meant to be tamed, but there's a big exotic trade. There are exotic kittens for sale, and then people take home tigers and cougars and panthers and whatnot. And they realize as they get big that most of the time these animals don't make good pets, and they can be hurt. Sometimes they're locked in basements. There's lots of sad stories, but that's why sanctuaries like this exist. And I wish the exotic trade would stop. And yeah, right. It just, let's not talk about that because it depresses me. But there are a lot of people who advocate for these animals. There's animals in need everywhere who are abused or abandoned or neglected or mistreated, and there are also a lot of people who care about those animals and want them to have. And there are sanctuaries all over the world that rescue
Whoop.
domestic animals.
You're muffled your mic there for a moment.
Sorry. Anyway, this particular sanctuary does really good work. People are cruel, but there's also people who are amazing.
I can tell by that photo that that lion is that a lion or a cougar?
That is a lion, a very happy adolescent lion.
I would say the one that has a level of trust with you and is just absolutely enjoying your company.
Yeah, well, I probably started off feeding it chicken legs through the chain link. And after you feed them, and there's that protection barrier between you, they are just so sweet, especially the ones that have been in captivity since they're young and treated well. That particular pair were taken in quite early. They didn't have super sad stories behind them, so that was good. I don't even know if they're still around, but anyway, the whole story behind this post is that a friend of mine went up and we gave the big cats a concert. And when we were done singing to them, they sang back to us. And that was amazing, just being surrounded by big cats roaring. They're just such majestic, powerful, amazing animals. And though I wish they weren't kept in captivity, I'm glad that I have had the opportunity to spend time with them.
Music is universal, isn't it?
It really is. yeah, it crosses language barriers, it crosses species barriers. It really is amazing and healing. Yesterday, when I adopted the kitten, I gave the rescue mama who does she runs this rescue. I gave her one of my mantra CDs for her and for the animals. So I guess I'm still singing to animals.
So, did you end up getting a black cat?
Yes, I did. I will put a post together with all kinds of pictures.
Very cool. Kitty Girl says that your mantra CD is awesome.
Yes, thank you, Kitty Girl. And you can listen to my CD for free, my mantra CD and my other music and there's a link to that at the bottom of my posts.
On tune. All right. Thank you, Katrina. Good to have you back. And Solo and Kitty Girl are the winners of the shade. Good to see you, Pri. And Solo, you're up.
Hold on, sorry about that. I'm trying to get my.
Trying to get your link.
There we go. Sorry, I copied something else in my clipboard and then forgot to copy it back.
Ah,
So I thought you'd appreciate this, Shadows Pub. I got my sweet potatoes grown, and I got well over 15 pounds of them from one spud placed in the. Took about 8 months since the beginning of the end of frost till the start of frost, which was just a few days ago. So I have 15 pounds of sweet potato. I've barely used 10% of it, and hopefully it'll last a few weeks at least. And it's tasty. I've already made some sweet potato fries with them, and also made a Thai dessert using some coconut milk and cooking them in the coconut milk. It came out real good, so they're delicious.
um, that one in your hand, you're not going to bake that, right?
Oh, I cut that thing into a bunch of pieces, and I made sweet potato fries with it and the coconut Thai dessert recipe. So I already made use of that.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking that one's to bake that sucker would probably take you a couple hours.
Yeah, I'd have to cut huge gouges in it to have any chance of cooking it without burning it to death. But it just came out boiling it.
So I saw an article not long ago where somebody was suggesting that if you're making like a pot pie, that rather than make pastry for it, to use thin slices of sweet potato. And it works rather well when you're doing like a chicken pot pie, and replace the pastry with sweet potato for the crust.
Kind of like spiralizing it that thin.
Um, no, you'd cut them across like you were going to do scalloped potatoes, and you cut them thin and layer it over the top of the pie.
I have trouble cutting them really thin. I had trouble just getting them into French fry sized wedges for my sweet potato fries. So I
You
think
need
I
a
need to
pretty
find a
sharp
better tool.
knife.
Yeah, I think I need a mandolin or
Yes,
there's some tool. Yes.
the mandolin would do the job beautifully.
When I have a bigger kitchen, I'll have better kitchen tools, just like my garage.
I hear you on that one. I haven't tried that with a sweet potato because I haven't got around to making a pot pie, but it sounded pretty interesting. And of course, with the fact that I love sweet potato, made it even easier. That is a really huge sweet potato. I've seen large ones. I don't purchase them though.
We were joking, it looks like a county fair potato you'd see.
It does, doesn't it? Very cool. Thank you, Soul. Somebody gave me this past week salted pollock. Never had salted fish before. That was kind of an interesting challenge. Kitty Girl says Solo Miner doesn't mess around when he gardens, go large or go home. And Injun, you're up.
Been a little bit of talk about Splinterlands and Gods Unchained today, and I wrote a review about them both. Granted, to each their own when it comes right down to it, and what kind of game you want to play. But I got pretty in depth with different things. It was a learning experience, especially since, like I said earlier, playing Gods Unchained, you got to set aside some time for. And sometimes my internet does not allow me to play it.
Kitty Girl says that's a great idea of reviewing both games.
They're real similar in the fact that they're card based games and they're both on blockchain and that kind of thing. But the gameplay themselves is completely different. So,
Snook says that she tends to prefer the Gods Unchained.
yeah, it's more her style because she played Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering and that kind of thing. There's a lot more strategy involved, I'm not going to lie, with Gods Unchained than there is with Splinterlands. Splinterlands is, you take anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes. My typical match is about 3 minutes, finding a person and setting up the hand I want to play, and then boom, 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 bingo, pow, on to the next one. But Gods Unchained, you got to sit there and play each card individually. So that's where the time factor comes in. Yeah, and I think that's why Snook likes that. That's what she wanted Splinterlands to be, was more turn based than all.
Yeah, she mentioned that she found that Gods Unchained was more like what she was hoping that Sea Monsters would have been, aka Splinterlands.
She's the one that got me into it. Originally, it was Ray or Metametheus. He was like, "Hey, check this out," and I was like, "Yeah, I signed up. I haven't played yet." But and then 2 months later,
Another Snook made me do it. Did you use that tag?
no, I didn't. She didn't make me write the review, but I did use it on a post about 3 weeks ago. She's like,
That'll do it. All right. Thank you, Engine. And Clicks, you're up. And he's ready.
Yeah, I'm always ready. Okay, you just talk about music, and I recently I started to use this sound a lot because I was looking for good music everywhere and I didn't find. So I just try to every day open this sound and find good music there. And I found this one, resteamed it, supported it, and I like it. I'm even listening to it now.
What? You're listening to it right now?
Yeah, like with the very low sound, but PYPT with the higher sound.
Okay, nice recovery. Nice recovery.
Yeah, you are always priority.
Good recovery there, Clicks. Right on the bit on that one. I've seen this one around. I haven't actually listened to it, but this one does publish quite regularly. A Naked Verse. The Turtle Project actually is what caught my attention. Veteran move, for sure, Zeke. Thank you, Clicks Money, and Engine, you're up. He's coming. Probably getting rid of one link and finding the next. Or, there we go.
since Sakura's over there having a little bit of trouble, I'll pimp her post for her.
Okay.
The daily photo thing, and I'm a big doggy fan, and I saw this scrolling through my feed, and I was like, "Oh, isn't that such a cute little puppy?" And I had to share it with everybody else so they can get their cuteness on.
That is a cute pup.
I love the eyes on Samoyeds and those types of dogs, the northern. The northern breeds. They're always like a light blue, and some of them have like a light blue and a brown eye. It's piercing.
1-year-old Siberian Husky. They are beautiful.
Samoyed, Siberian Huskies, yeah, all those the northern. I say northern breeds. They're like the sled dog types.
Yep.
We could almost put German Shepherds in with those. I wouldn't, but
It's kind of a
they're a
loose
northern. I call them
connection.
a northern breed because I mean they're not up north. My aunt, she breeds German Shepherds, red ones, and a lot of them have the light blue eye and the brown eye, and they've been getting picked up quite a bit for sled dogs. So that's why I threw them in there.
German Shepherds are kind of a versatile dog.
Smart. They can be trained to do just about anything. You know.
Yep. I would have to say though that my absolute favorite dog would be a golden retriever.
I think on the loyalty list, they're number one when it comes to their owners
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can believe that. And they're such a gentle dog unless you actually pull some stunt and then look out.
Yeah, I can't say so much for terriers. My whole terrier has been nipping at Freya. She'll grab its tail. She'll turn around. She snapped at her a couple times. Hasn't drawn blood yet, but yeah, she's on my stay outside list.
Well, I think any dog would react to its tail being pulled.
Well, not react, yeah, but there's some are more tolerant than others. You know, like Wednesday, my lab, she'll just kind of walk around in a circle until she lets it go, kind of thing, instead of snapping at
We had a lab, actually, it was Artemis North's lab. Um, and it was out at the store when my parents had the store north of here. And she would come out and visit with every customer during the day, just as friendly as you could ask for. And the minute Dad put the bar on the door at night, if you touched that door, she was going to go for your throat. She knew the difference.
It's okay, we're closed now. Go away. No more friends.
Well, my mother didn't know that aspect of it. She only saw the friendliness out in the store. And of course, her attitude was that, oh, they could come in here and walk away with the store. Till I was looking after the store one weekend. Well, I was checking the place, actually. They were away one weekend. And I went in the residence entrance because it was all in one building. And instead of saying anything, I just started moving the door handle. And all I could hear from behind the door was growling until I spoke, and then it was okay. Come on in.
It's awesome.
Yeah. All
Yeah, I love
right.
my lab. He's more tolerant than Maddox, my big Great Dane. I mean, he's a big lover, but you know, definitely agree. Labs are
Labs are a good dog. Yeah.
great.
The one that I had here was a border collie. She was good. She was actually Artemis's dog, and they couldn't move it to London. So I took custody. And I do mean took custody because when they came to visit, and this was even 3-4 years after they'd moved to London, when they came to visit, the minute they walked through that door, she remembered there's her family. I could get lost. She wouldn't have cared.
She's like, "Yay, I'm going home."
Yeah, it was really funny to watch it. I was kind of like, okay, well, they're here. I guess I'm not. All right. Anybody else got anything else they want to share? Everybody's happy? Engine typing something there.
Yeah,
And
always.
sure, we got a little bit more time. There we go. Maybe I shouldn't have said sure.
This is from Redhead Prince Edward Island over there. She's a sweetheart. For those who don't follow her, always puts out heartwarming posts. And she's talking about baking a pie over here. Now, I'm not a big fan of pumpkin pie, so I'm curious why certain pumpkins are chosen and why ones are not. I guess there's different breeds of them. The pumpkins we have here, we opened them up when we carved them, and they were all like stringy. All you could really do is save the seeds for them. But aside from that, yeah, it was all Halloweeny decorated and stuff, and that tickled my fancy.
Pumpkin actually is very nutritious.
So I've heard. I just the flavor's not doesn't really do a whole lot for a mouth habit.
It depends how it's made. I can remember that my mother would make a pumpkin pie that it was just as dry as toast. Half the time I didn't even want to have it. And other people can make it and it's so flavorful and so moist. Um, I found a recipe and it's a no bake actually. It's like a chiffon pumpkin pie and I loved it. Go for it, Solo.
So I told you I would share a ghost story. I figured I'd tell you all an interesting experience at my house. I mean, it may not even be a ghost. We don't even know what it is. But it seems spooky and paranormal related. So it started off with me and my friend moving mulch in the front yard. We're working hard and it's coming up on lunchtime, so we're going to take a break. I go inside and I take a quick shower. I'm about to heat up food for both of us. And my friend is still working outside and he sees someone walk into the garage. And not only walk into the garage, but moving stuff around and like manipulating items. But he sees this out of the corner of his eye and doesn't really think much. He's like, "Oh, my friend came up and he forgot something before he was going to go down." But I wasn't there. I was in the shower at the time. So I call it my doppelganger because supposedly it looked just like me out of the corner of his eye, and he really thought it was me. And there was sounds of shuffling, and as supposedly it was bending over and grabbing things on the ground in the garage, and you could hear those things being moved. So interesting story, and one of the more creepy ones that I've encountered.
Maybe it's a long lost relative of yours
Sure
from
could be.
beyond.
Yeah. I'm not too sure, but it's a great story, my friend, or a great experience he had here. Many of my friends have had experiences here.
I don't totally discount the concept. There's been too many instances that can't be just explained away that you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. That's why I'm just calling it strangeness. I'm not saying it was me or if it was someone else. It's just an interesting occurrence. It was spooky. One of my spooky stories.
There's some people over at the branch that have reported seeing a World War One soldier just standing in the hallways or in one of the rooms.
Damn, I've heard about old war ghosts, especially in the South. People actually can see recreations of the war happening, but they were ghosts supposedly, like cannon fire and even like large-scale movements of apparitions. I've heard.
Yeah, I've never heard of that too often, but this one, the branch is built on a site that was a schoolhouse. I have no idea whether that's a connection or not. I know last year when we were doing the Christmas hampers, there was two of the ladies that were there helping to assemble the hampers, and one of them very calmly said to me, "There's been somebody standing across the room there watching us." And I looked over and I went, "What are you talking about?" In World War One uniform, tall and thin. And I went, "Oh," which matched the description I've been given by other people.
Wow. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard some amazing ghost war stories where literally a ghost will come up to someone's door and ask for water, and they're dressed in like the Confederate Civil War outfit, and there's literally a ghost cart with a ghost dead soldier in it, and this guy's asking for water, and it occurs like every few weeks.
Odd. Angie's just
Yeah,
saying that Georgia is a whole haunted fort and supposed to be one of the most haunted places in the world.
that's awesome. I'll need to see how far that is from me and make a trip out of it.
There you go. And Injun, you've got another post.
I would be remiss if I didn't pimp my silver pimp over here. She just picked up some 5 ounce silver rounds, some old hobo nickels, and one that really caught my attention, not just because of the boobies, but because of the name, was the green fairy that she got there. We went back and forth in the comments. She didn't understand what the green fairy was. Considering where she's from, you'd think she'd know because it's from that region. Anybody familiar with Absinthe? Jack, maybe you are.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, Zeke, yeah, okay. So, yeah, she had no idea what the green fairy was, and I was like, really? Well, let me tell you a story.
I'll have to go back and read those um, comments then. I was just getting a kick out of the hobo part of it.
we need to do a steam silver around the hobo nickel with your cat on it. That'd be awesome.
Hobo on one side, tramp on the other.
Sweet.
There are times the two of them are like two sides of the same coin. Jack says he read a book on the topic once.
Yeah, me too, Jack. Yeah, that was all it took. The real stuff is actually hard to find now. You won't find much with the actual wormwood in it. Now it's just kind of tinted green and got heavy alcohol content. But true absinthe, if you can get it from over there in Europe, they don't make it here. Yeah, that's a riot.
So Kitty
Not
Girl's
gonna lie.
reminding us that she wrote about hobo nickels last year. Obviously not the cat hobo.
That may have been before you got hobo.
Or she hadn't been here very long, one or the other.
Mm.
She's only been here a year. She arrived here on the 16th of October of last year. And I brought Tramp in on the 27th of September this year. All right. Thank you, Injun. Clicks Money, what do you got?
I will send the link a bit later.
Oh, okay. Go for it, Injun.
This is about as easy a contest as you can get. If you anybody here in PYPT, I suggest you go drop your post link over there in the comments. But for some reason, he's not getting much engagement. I mean, the only thing is if you win 5 Steam on this contest, I think I saw 2 or 3 entries on there, and since there's 8 or 9 people in here, it's a pretty high chance that you guys would win right now. But yeah, you have to power up the 5 Steam. That's the only catch if you win.
This is gaming, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like Sergeant Dan could drop his deal over there, and Clicks Money could drop his gamification post over there, and so on.
Ah, there we go. And that's not a bad deal, having to power up the funds.
No, I don't have any problem with that. I think that's an excellent way to get people engaged with that. Keep the Steam here on chain.
Right now, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to even take Steam off the chain unless you absolutely have to. November seems to be the month that if there's going to be a breakout on pricing going up, it's going to happen. You don't want to be pulling Steam out in this time of year.
Okay, actually, on this one, it doesn't say that it has to be a gaming post. In the rules, it says nominate your originally good quality content. That's all
Ah,
it says. As long as it was made after the time of this post, which was 2 days ago. So anything in the last couple of days or you can wait a couple days if you're planning on making another one. And yeah,
Oh, I just put a post up this morning. I should take a look at that.
I have that open. I haven't read it yet. The one on spread love, not war.
The hate one, yeah. Solo, what's the halving? Halving.
It occurs every few years with Bitcoin where the miner reward drops by half.
Yeah, it's because the difficulty increases on the mining.
And if you look over the last 10 years, it's closely correlated with price rise because miners don't want to give up their hard-earned coins for really cheap. So it artificially raises the price every few years. It's what makes it a deflationary currency.
So I've seen a few headlines that apparently that's going to occur in the next 6 months.
Yeah, in May of next year is when they're expecting, depending on the hash rate at the time, it either speeds it up or slows.
So if we don't see a bull market before then, we may see one then.
Yeah, or a few months after. It's not usually like an overnight effect, but it's a cumulative effect as the miners that were mining them just are kind of waiting out for the price to rise before they'll even sell them. So it just changes the buy-sell ratio.
Well, that should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, a lot of complaining from miners. You'll hear they'll be complaining a lot.
Well, with the amount of hydro they burn in order to mine, Defiant says it'll
Yeah.
have lower inflation than gold.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin eventually might hit 100K, so these little halving changes is really nothing in the comparison of its big price. That's the thing, is the mining price is close to the price of Bitcoin, so if Bitcoin goes too low in price, people are going to stop mining. But if it goes the other way, there's another gold rush, so to say.
Crypto economics. It's a brave new world. Were you wanting to say
So
something, Clicks?
yeah, I shared the GIF. I didn't want to share a post. It's a GIF. I don't know. It didn't work for me in Discord. I don't know if it's working for you.
Yeah,
Like,
I noticed that it didn't
yeah,
come up.
yeah. But if you open that in the browser, it will work. It's really funny. It's from a Soviet old movie where some guys they like traveled to the past and they went in the time of the one Tsar, and they was running from their guards, and they were in the roof, and they like jump, like they show the guards that they are jumping, but they didn't jump. So it's the same, and they put there like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So Bitcoin also, he's like showing all the altcoins that it will fall, and everybody believe, and all the altcoins go down, and after all, Bitcoin stay in the top, and Ethereum always. You can take a look at the GIF. It's funny.
That's cute. Okay, Engine, what you got? Define says those are Fiat guards.
I'm pimping yours. I'll let you explain to give it a brief introduction because I haven't read the entire thing. I've only read about the first maybe third of it. It looks like it was prompted from your remembrance period, and you watched a video from a war survivor, correct?
A Holocaust survivor, actually.
Holocaust survivor. Holy
A
crap!
Holocaust survivor. So I discovered that there's an organization that actually started out in Edmonton, and it's called No Stone Untouched, I believe is the proper name of it. No Stone Left Alone. And the organization started, a woman back in the 70s. She was losing her mother. She was a 12-year-old child at the moment, or at the time. And her mother's last request was to her, don't forget me on Armistice Day, which is what Remembrance Day was before it was called Remembrance Day. And what this child did was every year on Remembrance Day, she would go to the graveyard and would put a poppy on her mother's grave. So as she grew up and ended up having a family of her own, she would take her children to the graveyard to do that. And the girls would start asking, like, why are the other soldiers' graves not got poppies on them? So once the girls became adults, they pretty much demanded of their mother that the other soldiers' graves needed poppies. And she started this organization, and the purpose of it is to get school children across the country putting poppies on veterans' graves. And part of how they do this is they do special ceremonies. And some of those special ceremonies were held last Monday. And I caught this video of this lady, Dr. Eva Olson. She was 18 years old when she was sent into forced labor for the Germans and then ended up at Bergen-Belsen at the end of the war. And the Allies come in fact, it was the Canadians who liberated the camp in the morning, and it was the very day that the Germans were planning on executing the rest of the prisoners that afternoon. That was a pretty close call. So part of how she's gone about healing is she speaks out about the Holocaust. She talks about her experiences. And one of the comments that she made during that was, get rid of hate, you get rid of war. And then in passing, she said, well, there's greed too, but all wars start because of hate. And I was like, what? So I thought about it for a while and kind of related it back to the beginnings of World War II. And yeah, she's got a point. So there you go. There's the story.
Okay, I see you mentioned the poppies down there as I'm getting closer to reading the rest of it. Is that what prompted the like Canada to put them on various coins and stuff, or has poppies always been a thing for Canada?
You've heard the poem in Flanders Fields?
Been a while, but yeah.
Okay. Flanders Fields was written by a Canadian surgeon, and it wasn't actually the Canadians who started the poppies. It was actually an American woman in the 1920s who was so taken by the poem in Flanders Fields that that's what she wanted to do. And it never caught on in the States, but it did in the Commonwealth, or at least in England and Canada.
Cool.
I don't know. Do they distribute poppies in Australia, Jack? Because you do more Anzac Day than Remembrance Day, don't you? Yeah, Anzac Day. And the Netherlands, which is one of the countries that Canadians were involved in liberating during the war, their Remembrance Day is actually May the 4th. That was when they were liberated. On the day the First World War finished would be Remembrance Day,
Yeah.
November the 11th. It's interesting how different countries observe it. Yeah, November the 11th at 11 a.m. Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Wah, wah.
Nice
Grassman.
going, Zeke. He hit reputation at 66. Engine's not interested in 66. He's heading for 69.
One way or
I've
the
been
other.
here a while. Yeah. I've been trying not to post so I don't go over 69. I just want to stay there.
I'm getting very close to 70. I think I'm about 0.35 away. It takes time. It takes more time. The higher you go, the longer it takes to get each one.
Yeah, according to SteamWorld, I'm at 69.884.
There you go. You'll get there. You've been listening to Shadows Pub host, Pimp Your Post Thursday, morning edition from the Ramble. Until next time, it's all about community. And yep, bye, Wilma. There we go.